What's going on, guys? Alex here with 814 EDC, and today I'm ready to do my full review on the Kizer Knives Chili Pepper. So this is a design that's been around for quite a while. It is a Swags design right there. And this is a knife that is in via the Lefty passaround group. It is part of a Kizer package with the Chili Pepper, with the Comet, and with the Feist. So you guys will probably be seeing, or you will be seeing, the Comet full review after the Chili Pepper review. I'm not going to do the Feist review just because, you know, I've already done Feist reviews on my channel, both the XL and the small version. So that's just going to get kind of sitting there watching the full reviews be done on these knives. But yeah, the Chili Pepper. This knife definitely surprised me. I'm not the biggest fan of how this knife looks. I've never really been, you know, a big fan of the aesthetics of this knife. But when I saw Kevin throw it in the pass-around group, I really wanted to check it out because this is the, you know, Boujee version, the dressed up version. Have you, you know, whatever you want to say about the Chili Pepper. This model is, you know, the high-end version of, you know, the existing models. It came out probably about a month or so ago, and yeah, I'm really liking this knife. I'm still not the biggest fan of, you know, kind of the banana design on the, or the banana side, or the banana shape of the handle. If Alex could talk, that would be really good. You know, the kind of this upswept blade, I'm not a huge fan of, but as a, you know, fit and finish and, you know, flickability and everything like that, carryability, this knife's really good. I've definitely really warmed up to it since I've had it in. This thing has seen a ton of pocket time, a ton of just doing this on the couch at night. This thing is really, really rad, and I really like this knife. So without further ado, we're going to jump right into the video, or excuse me, the review. So yeah, this is the Boujee out version, rocking some Toxic Green, Toxic Storm, excuse me, Toxic Storm fat carbon scales. I knew it wasn't Toxic Green, but it has greens and yellows and blacks and grays. A really cool version of the fat carbon. I would probably never buy this one for myself, so I'm excited to get to check it out. You know, I think this is the second Kizer version I've gotten to check out with the Toxic Storm. I think the first one was the Drop Bear. Green thumb studs, reversible, loop over style deep carry clip, front flipper. Of course, this version is they're all button lock versions. Kizer right there, Chili Pepper, Swags, and this is S90V, which, yep, says it up there by the thumb stud if my phone will focus on it. There is 4 pockets on both sides milled into the liners. Yeah, that's about it. A couple standoffs back there. There are currently 4 different variations of the Chili Pepper. 2 of them are in stock on White Mountain knives, 2 of them aren't. This current version is in stock, as well as the red G10 with 154 cm handle, or excuse me, blade. Then they have a discontinued purple G10 with 154 cm that is currently sold out, as well as the green aluminum handle with 3V is also sold out. But I will leave a link to White Mountain Knives down below if you guys are interested in checking out the Chili Pepper. You can use someone's code and get it, you know, for 10% off, save you some cash-ola. So some quick specs from tip to butt. You have a overall length of 7.99 inches, so this is an 8-inch overall long knife. Blade length is 3.35, which is honestly a little bit shocking. I would not, no, that is not. All right, hold on. I don't think that these, yeah, that is definitely not a 3. Okay, this is, I believe, the specs for the Militar. So hold on, let me find it on Kizer's website. This is not the first time the White Mountain has done this, to where they've had different specs on their, you know, knives, their listings. So let me pull up Kizer's website real quick, and we will see if I can do a little bit better for you guys. Yeah, I'll actually use Kizer's website because all the versions are currently in stock on here, and they are, yeah, currently in stock. So let me, yeah, the blade length is 3.03 inches. I knew it wasn't that long. Let me get some specifications. All right, so the overall length, sorry about that, guys, is 7.17 from tip to butt. You have a blade length of 3.03, so a 3-inch blade. Blade thickness of 0.11. Handle length of 4.09. It comes in weighing 3.05 ounces, so 3-inch blade, 3 ounces on the weight, which is really nice. And yeah, that's about it for specs. So as far as materials go, I forgot to almost put down my first category. Fat carbon, button lock, multiple ways to deploy the knife, Libero style deep carry clip, 5 out of 5. Next up is aesthetic. Now this is where I'm probably not going to score this knife very high. I'm a big fan of the Toxic Storm, fat carbon on there. I like the pop of green on the thumb studs. But overall, I don't think the knife looks very good. I mean, ergos are good, which we'll touch on later. But as far as aesthetics go, I don't think that this is a very appealing knife. Like I said, it's been around for a little while now. I've always known about it, but I just don't think that it is, at least for me. And you guys have to remember, this is all my opinion. You got to take everything with a grain of salt. But as far as aesthetics go on here, I'm not a big fan of the banana-shaped handle. Again, I don't like the upswept blade. We'll see what Kizer calls the blade shape. I mean, they're calling it a drop point. I guess it kind of is, but that's like on, walking on thin ice of being a true drop point. But I gotta go 3, guys. I know that's low on the aesthetic, but I promise most of everything else is gonna be positive. I really do like the knife. I just don't like the way it looks, and that's just my opinion. So it's getting a 3 for the aesthetic, 3 out of 5. Next up is action. Now action, this thing is really good. It has a nice tight dial detent. Thumb flick it out, reverse flick. I mean, look how it just pops right out of there. And I could just sit here and just do this all day long. Reverse flick, middle finger flick, thumb flick. You can slow roll it out. You can use the button lock to open the knife up. Now, as far as the button lock goes, it's recessed into the scale. You can see a little bit of the material cut away there, which is nice. So it's not sticking up and protruding anything very far when it comes to ergos. But you just push it, drops down. No blade play at all. This thing is locked up really nice and tight. And you guys can see, I mean, you're just getting that, which I know it's a button lock, but you're just getting that ridiculous, smooth drop shut action every single time. So, I mean, action is a 5 all day, every day. Oh, front flipper, almost forgot. Pops out. You get just a little bit of area to land up here. The jipping goes up and around, which is really nice, but you just kind of land right on the tip, roll over, and it pops right out. Yeah, action is really, really good about this knife. Or when it comes to this knife, I am a big fan of the Chili Pepper action, so 5 out of 5. Next up is acoustics. Sometimes you can get it to, when you hit it the right way, you can get kind of a high-pitched, little bit of a ring. But overall, I mean, it's pretty solid. I am quite a big fan of it. Especially just that repetitive, I mean, you guys can hear it a little bit. Oh, my finger's getting tired. On the open, you get a little bit of a high pitchness. I think it's really good. I'm very impressed with it. I'm going to give it a 5. I know that's kind of controversial. I don't give too many 5s out, but I think it's very good for what it is. Especially when you remember it's fat carbon, so it's not like a titanium or aluminum that kind of reverberates sound. You think it would dull it up a little bit, but no, it kind of amplifies it, which I really, really like. So ergos. As much as I don't like how this knife looks, I really like how this knife fits in my hand due to, again, that banana shape. So you have, I mean, pretty much a curvature. You have a straight line from about here to like here, but then it really starts to taper off and just be on a curvature the whole way down. Wraps up around, and it's, I mean, it's relatively straight in through here. And then you have a indentation right here, and then it lands out here on sort of a choil area. So choking back, holding the knife normal. I can get all 4 fingers on this knife. I have a little bit of the blade or the handle sticking out, but not much at all. You do have jimping running the whole way out to about here. So your thumb lands right on it, or you can push it out even farther. You know, I don't think this is the most usable blade shape. So, I mean, but it comes down to a thin edge, and S90V is a great steel, so you can get a lot of good cutting out of it, but just not the best blade shape for my personal tasks and my personal, you know, EDC, you know, things that I'm doing with my knife. But you can choke up, kind of slide up a little bit to your pointer finger, gets up off that hot, you know, clip a little bit, which this does cause a little bit of a hot spot, just because, you know, the edges of where the knife loops over can be a little bit abrasive, and it kind of lands right on my, you know, meat of my, or my one knuckle of my pinky. So I can definitely feel it, and that kind of takes away from it a little bit. But if you choke up and get off that, pretty much alleviates any annoyances you get from that pocket clip. The fat carbon is, you know, doesn't have any super gritty textures or anything like that, but it feels good, you know, as far as fat carbons go. Some can be micro mill, but this is not, but I have no issues with how the fat carbon feels. Everything is rounded off and chamfered in, you know, the right areas, except for that pocket clip. So we'll go 4.5, just because if you are choked back a little bit, you can feel that pocket clip, but choking up gets you away from that. It's pretty comfortable as long as you are, you know, don't have huge mitts. So 4.5 on the ergos. Carry. What's this thing weigh? 3 ounces pretty much. And this, you know, carry clip goes pretty much to the butt end of the knife. I mean, you have just a smidgen of the scale sticking out of there, but I'm not gonna, you know, knock it for anything. And it is lefty or righty carry, which is really nice. Sits down in the pocket, super deep. I wish the pocket clip wasn't as long. You guys know I'm kind of a stickler when it comes to like longer clips. I think a shorter, stubbier clip would have been really nice on here. But it sits down in your pocket, kind of curves away from you if you want it to be straight. But, you know, you have no jimping, no flipper tab or anything like that. If you know, are down underneath trying to trying to get change, chapstick, things like that, you have no risk of pulling the knife up out of your pocket, which is really good. I've carried this in khakis and my bird dogs. I've carried this in my gym shorts. I've tossed it in my sweatpants pocket. It really excels at just, you know, burying itself deep in the pocket if you are utilizing the clip, just because of how deep it is. One thing I will say, you don't have a whole lot of clearance in there where the scale, or excuse me, where the clip is right over the first clip screw. I mean, it gets pretty narrow in there, so you might have an issue if you have thicker jean pockets or pants pockets. You might get caught up like right around here, and you might have to kind of like work it in there. So that's kind of a little bit of an annoyance, but overall, you know, it carries very well. It's slim, it's thin, it's lightweight. Yeah, so I'm gonna give it, I'll give it a 4.5, just because I think that is noteworthy to talk about right there. If you do have thicker pants pockets. Man, I'm really struggling today on some of my words. It's been a long week, I guess. But next up is price point / value and what I recommend this knife. So on Kizer's website, the S90V Toxic Storm Fat Carbon version of the Chili Pepper is coming in at $159. I think that's a very fair price. I think anything under $200 for the materials listed is you're getting a deal. You know, S90V on the blade, beautiful Toxic Storm Fat Carbon with a button lock, multiple ways to point the knife, has a great detent, great action, great front flip, you know, pretty solid ergos. Not the best looking knife, but, you know, for all things considered, it's a very good value, and I can absolutely recommend this. I will say this, if you are a fan of how this knife looks, you're going to like it. Now you can get one of the cheaper versions, one of the micarta or the G10 versions with, you know, 154 cm for like $100, and like that as much, I think, too. But if you want something really bougied out and you are a fan of, again, how this knife looks, the Toxic Storm Fat Carbon, pick it up, because I think you're going to like it. Button lock just works phenomenal. Middle finger flick, thumb flick, front flip, everything. Just, it's a good knife. Like I said, it really surprised me, and I liked pretty much everything about it besides of, the aesthetic and how the knife is designed. Just not my cup of tea when it comes to knife designs, and it is what it is. So yeah, I can absolutely recommend it. I think it's a great value. It's going to get a 5 on that. So let me count the score real quick. Alrighty, so the Kizer Knives Chili Pepper is getting a 32, which lands it in the great category. And again, I think this would be higher if the knife had a better design. And I'm not trying to be, manipulative. I'm not trying to be negative. I'm not trying to be, ragging on the knife, because the knife is fantastic. And again, I think those who like this style of knife, they're going to love it. They're going to absolutely love it, because I loved pretty much everything about it besides basically the actual design of the knife. And that's just how it is. So 32 lands it in the great category. I think that's very fair. So yeah, this was my 4 review on the Kizer Knives Chili Pepper, the bougied out version, the spicy chili pepper, the swamp chili pepper, I guess you can say. I might use it in my title, but drop a comment down below. Have you guys picked up the new bougied out version of it? Have you had any of the older versions of it? What are your thoughts on it? I would love to hear what you guys have to say. You guys know I always try to comment back, and I love when you guys comment on my stuff. So, but I'm going to wrap this up now. But thank you guys again so much for watching. I greatly appreciate each and every single one of you guys. I hope you have a fantastic rest of your morning, evening, day, night, weekend, whenever you're watching this video. And I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Peace.